I'm taking it slow. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to tonight's broadcast of the Blue Otter Draft League. I am your regular caster, Becky Rita, joining you for a lovely romantic draft night evening. Joining me is Cherry, filling in for Reigns, who is out doing things that are better, I guess, with things that are going on in the real world. And we're all here to draft. Cherry, how are we doing tonight?
Well, I am not doing things happening in the real world, so it does go to show, right? This is a good day. This is a good day for some League of Legends. As we enter the draft, we see what these two teams have in store for us. As I'm super excited, you're super excited. I'm not totally sure. Is this Fearless Draft, or is this just like... Okay, so this is gonna be...
This is best of 3 Fearless.
All right, so interestingly enough, right, we come on in. That's a start, right? That Pike comes in, the Swain as well. Removing the option of the Swain in the support category, it does kind of make you wonder, right? Where is that going to be located? Are we going to be seeing that in the mid lane, the top side? Obviously, bot is going to be a little bit more towards the unlikelier end, as the Geisa does get locked, but we'll see how that does kind of come into fruition and see where that does end up getting placed as we do keep that draft ongoing.
Yeah, Swain has been a very brutal laner. since the start of the season, really. There are some items that really favor him right now, and he's able to bully out a lot of the other good picks, which I think is nice to see. I like Swain. I think he's a cool champion. Is he a little boring to lane against? Yeah. And he also just becomes a raid boss, which is fun when you're the raid boss. Maybe not so much on the other side of it. The Pike, I think, is where things are going to be thrown for a loop here. Pike is always a champion that kind of warps the game around him, kind of like that Blitzcrank. Any kind of big hook champion is going to sort of change the speed of the game to favor them. Kind of just warp everything around what they can do, what they can't do, and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Pike will deliver in this game. Into the Braum is going to be a little bit difficult, just because Braum is a nice, safe, reliable champion that you can bet on to keep your carry, this Caitlyn, from harm's way. As we get into the round 2 of ban here's, it should be noted that GOATED lost all of their bans because XSV's captain decided that they didn't deserve any. And you can decide how you feel about that on your personal level. XSV also lost a couple of bans because they had to use an emergency sub. Really, I think they should have lost all their bans as well, just to really, make things just truly heinous here to start us off for the evening, as we have the Brand mid, but more than likely. I can't imagine it'd be going in top lane unless there's something I don't know. And into the Vel'Koz, we're picking supports in mid lane? We're pretending these supports are mid laners?
Huh. Well, there's a lot
they used to be mid lane back in the ancient times, but
Yeah. There's some craziness coming out, but this is exactly what we're expecting in the draft league. Ideally, I want to see something with a little bit more tankiness coming out. If they do end up adding into it, it will be that Hecarim that will lock itself in. It's a bit of a more bruiser-based champion with a bit of speed mixed involved, so there's a lot of opportunity in order to target champions like that Caitlyn, like that Braum. Yes, the Caitlyn does have a couple of escape routes, like their W, like their Q, I believe, so there's a couple of ways to try and navigate the matchup in a decent scenario for their jungler, especially as you have a lot of stuns to be able to lock up the Hecarim. Going over the top lane will be fixed, and it is going to be the Gwen. I want to get your thoughts, right? Gwen versus Swain. Who's going to be able to bully this lane harder?
Are we talking who would be better at bullying Swain, Gwen, or Brand?
Yeah, like who's gonna be able to really dominate this lane, you think?
That's a tough call. I feel like Brand theoretically just has a lot of sustained poke damage. You can apply that kind of sustained assault onto somebody, but it does get a little more iffy when you factor in that Brand is in top lane, he's not safe just because he has no mobility. He has no ability to get out of danger, out of dodge. And that just kind of makes him a sitting duck for pretty much everything, unless there's something... Unless he can really brutalize this the Swain and control lane and top lane, that would be kind of difficult. I feel like the Swain kind of has to go mid. Just because top lane Swain is not real, even if I kind of wish it was. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm super excited to see this matchup. Not sure exactly how this is going to play out, whether or not we are just going to be seeing lanes be dominated and a little bit less on that team fighting aspect, or whether teams are going to really try and play cohesively. You'd imagine that the GOATED roster is likely going to be a little bit more inclined to go for team fights, as they have a little bit more squishiness within their Caitlyn, within their Brand. Obviously, the Braum going to be really, really helpful in order to peel for the Caitlyn, and if they can find success, especially when it comes to some of the squishier champions like that Kai'Sa, who doesn't have as much healing aspect as like what you're going to be seeing from the Pike, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Now, on the other side of the things, the Pike going to be able to facilitate these engagements relatively well, one would imagine, right? When it comes to their hook plus their dash, they can start to lock up the Caitlyn, put them in a bit of a sticky situation, and as long as that Kai'Sa is around to be able to follow up, there's a good opportunity for them to be able to find early kills despite that Braum's presence within the battlefield.
So we'll have to see if they can make that happen, or if there are some shenanigans at play that we are just not aware of and will not be aware of until we get in on the Rift. So, any just quick prediction? Who do you think is going to take based on draft? Who do you think's taking game 1 here?
Solely based off the draft, I'm going to be favoring this GOATED roster. I think that this Gwen, if they can start to get ahead, can really skyrocket the team's impact, and beyond that, the rest of the team has that potential. Now, on the other side of things, there is a good world in which there is going to be the XSV roster making strides, able to find some impact, but I need to see something from that Vel'Koz, right? That's a difficult champion to pilot, and overall, the impact that Vel'Koz does come out with does solely rely on their ultimate, and if that does get kind of focused by something like the Fire in the Hole, the Ace in the Hole can really make something go their way, as well as the targeting from the Mumu to put them in their place. So it is gonna come down to which team has that better macro. The micro as well going to be a big factor, however, and I don't know who's gonna win. I'm not a mind reader, I can't tell the future, but I'm sure that you might have a prediction of your own.
Yeah, I think kind of looking at things here, I feel like XSV's comp just has a little bit too much. It's a little bit too spicy. I feel I always pick standard in draft unless there's a pick that I know is kind of going to shake up the game, and maybe that's the Pyke. I always prefer looking at standard kind of built to fight compositions, and I feel like GOATED have a good roster to kind of just control zone around objectives. If they get to an objective first, it'll be a little difficult for XSV to breach unless they get a good hook or they get a good onslaught of shadows. So I think it theoretically should be in favor of GOATED, but I am famously wrong, so we'll have to see.
Certainly
we'll
going
see.
to It's going to be a difficult situation, right? Like, if you're on either teams, finding this game, one, it's a difficult start that you're going to have to really take advantage of the weaknesses that your opponents do kind of force out. So we'll see what does end up happening. We're going to go to a quick little break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be back. Game 1 comes underway in just a little bit.
doesn't mean to be happy, 'cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty, man, we just putting on a show. Try to look to the heavens to tell us things that we beg to know. Like, what did this all mean? There's no tomorrow. Oh, you know, I try to find a purpose in my life to drive me, to guide me. Oh, doctor, I feel dead inside. To drive me, to guide me. Oh, doctor, I feel dead Try to look to the heavens to tell us things that we beg to know. Like, what did this all mean? There's no tomorrow. Oh, you know, I try to find a purpose in my life to drive me, to guide me. Oh, doctor, I feel dead inside. I'm here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only 'cause I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, 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 no. Oh, oh, tonight we're stars, but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up. Oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up. Oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down. So before
everybody, and welcome to the Rift right now. The wonderful Rift, the lovely, the date destination, the hottest date destination here, Summoner's Rift. For the Blue Water Draft League, we have XSV Draft on the blue side, GOATED on the red side. I am, once again, Becky Rita, joined here on the Rift by Cherry, and we have... okay, so kind of what we expected to see panned out here. No shenanigans, no pike mid. It's all normal, relatively speaking.
Yeah, to an extent, there is nothing too hectic happening. But what is hectic happening is that opening kill.
Huh.
Oh, and if that hook connects, that might have been a second converted, but unfortunately for the XSVD, they'll only be able to collect one for their troubles. However, the amount that they'll be able to push this lane, as well as being able to force that back from the Braum eventually, it is certainly looking like they are going to be able to put themselves on a front foot starting this series. With the Kaisa able to collect the kill, that'll be able to give a little bit of gold to their pockets and certainly put them very, very poised to be able to deliver a nice game of one.
Yeah, I would say definitely a little bit odd for that level 1 there. I understand that Braum is actually pretty nice in level 1s, but Caitlyn's not the best champion to follow up with that. Getting just kind of caught by the hook, and then Kaisa following up. A lot of damage early on from the Pike, especially because he has the Hail of Blades. A lot of burst damage coming out from that, and Kaisa is also just a really great burst champion early on. Doesn't need a whole lot to absolutely obliterate your entire life force. And Braum, unfortunately, just kind of doesn't have any buttons to help you in the early, at level 1. He really needs to try to play defensively. He needs level 3 just to have both his jump and his shield both. So unfortunately there, it sets him on the back foot to start. Fortunately, Caitlyn is a good laner. Oh, we got a gank.
Yeah, and it seems like this Amumu might be able to cause some trouble, but as the Ignite comes into play, that could be enough. Never mind, it'll just be Zebrabit. And as they convert the kill, it'll equalize that gold deficit. Ignite does come online. The Kaisa still trying to play aggressive. The HP down! There's the damage dealt, but the tower will find its execution, marking their one. And now it just leaves that Pike in a little bit of a rough situation, as the support versus an ADC is not going to be the easiest matchup despite the offensive nature that a Pike possesses. It'll be unlikely that they'll be able to make anything happen. They're going to go for a back close to their wave and collect those minion experiences as they get back over to the fountain.
Yeah, so in the top side, great gank from Zebra. Rebel Leader just a little bit too far forward. Had to burn the flash early. I will say, good movement. Oh, we do have a... Okay, flash is going to be good from Greeno. Dodging out on that one. Does blow the flash, though. So Mohawk can very easily revisit there. Doesn't have the ghost, which will be interesting, as we do have another play here. Chief on the bad end of that one, it looks like. Does have to burn that flash, which is very unfortunate for the Pike. Will not have that as the playmaking tool for a little while. But back to looking at the top side play there. Just a good decision. I will say Rebel Leader, I think, played that about as well as you could have, considering the circumstances. Good from Zebrabit to hold the bandage tosses, though. Just don't bother burning it. Rebel Leader already had the flash, already burned it, so you can just walk up and cry on him to vaporize him to death. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, just another 2v2. Okay, Gwen, at somewhere, Swain fell down and hurt himself. Old man, you gotta have your life alert for those situations, unfortunately.
Yeah,
As
it's
Jungler's
already...
moving in, we got a gank.
This extra kill going over to the Amumu has put them in a position where they're able to make these types of things happen, and the dash is going to be disappointing, but the Hecarim re-engage is going to allow this triple kill to come into action, right? Zebra going to go for the flash, trying to make their way on out, but it will be for nothing as double kill comes in for the Kaisa of the first, and there's Spaghetti able to find two, and it's a third connected for Mohawk, who's on that Hecarim. able to put themselves in a good spot. Already, Becky Rita, it's looking extremely dominant towards this blue side as the XSVD putting up a 2K gold lead only 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I will say just good. A little bit of misunderstanding of where the Hecarim was, not necessarily tracking that, because if you know Hecarim's nearby, you absolutely never go for that, as the disintegration ray will have disintegrated that life form. Daxley will survive, skipping out of that one. So it gets some kills traded around the map, just some stray 1v1 power plays. Although in the mid lane, not really 1v1. There was another gamer there, so gotta respect that. Yes, but on the bot side, Amumu going for that, I think it makes sense. It's a good kind of, you have your window of opportunity, but unfortunately, because the Hecarim's nearby, he's able to just run over, and he was set up so beautifully there when he jumped into all three of them, dashed in, spun around, burning them down with his W AoE. Just overall, really crushing play from the side of XSV, and the Caitlyn as a laner can only do so much to try and exert pressure here, because we're getting to the point Pyke now has his serrated dirt completed, so that is just a pretty strong power spike for him. If he gets a hook down, it is going to be a huge chunk of HP out of whichever one of the two of them. Braum obviously has his safety tools, so he's less juicy of a target, but if this Caitlyn ever gets even sniffed by a hook, she is going to disappear, and that is absolutely not what this GOATED roster needs right now, because Caitlyn is already in a bit of a hole, and she's not exactly the best scaling champion you've ever seen, so it's going to be a tough one. We'll see what GOATED can do to try and bail them out. Looking around some other parts of the map, the Hecarim does have a bit of a CS lead over the Amumu, who has looked for a couple of plays around the map. Greeno struggling in the mid lane. I guess I should have realized Greeno, a name I recognize from previous draft leagues, does like that brand mid. Not necessarily good on it, but does like it as he perishes. Will Zebrabit be able to do anything? No.
Yeah, the answer is the slow from the Vel'Koz, who, despite investing their ultimate, might even want to keep this fight alive, as the Hecarim does make their way on into the action. Mohawk is going to be able to take down Zebra.
Uh-oh. Huh.
It's unfortunate to say the least. And
what the heck happened? Mysteries we'll never be able to solve. Uh-oh.
Yeah, the re-engage from Chief comes in, and despite not having any kill participation on the last kill, they're going to be able to come back and secure their first of the game. But you do have to really point out that they're the elephant in the room. So far, Chief has been an absolute nightmare of a player to deal with on 7 kill participation out of 9 kills, certainly looking like an absolute masterclass performer.
It's that Pyke element, that wrench thrown into the game plan here. A good Pyke player absolutely, kind of like I was leading on with in draft, absolutely just warps the game around him. I will say, talking about GOATED as a roster, they still have good buttons. They still have good, stable gameplay potential. They have the Amumu ultimate, they have Braum, they have the AoE damage from the brand. Oh, well, if he would be able to stay alive much longer than he is currently, as we do have Amumu looking for something.
Yeah, but the Dash is going to be able to evade their first target and getting taken out of the fight. The Killer Instincts, really smart play. The Killer Instincts. Oh, and Chief able to find their first, looks for the second as the Braum is low. Flashing in, goes for some sharpshooting, but Ace Theory is able to diverge out of the engagement, goes into bush, and secures their way on out. And now it is up to Rebel Leader, who's in a little bit of a tough spot to act in, and at this low HP line that is likely to be coming into fruition, the needlework just railing down the damage. Rebel leader needing to play way more passive than they actually are. The ulti comes in. The stun follow-up goes for the second ult. Unable to convert, but they still
Just
play
gonna get the kill
aggressive.
anyways. This is so sad.
Yeah, charging up the hook and possibly being a little bit too aggressive. Chief is going to have to back up. Will Spaghetti be able to finish off the kill? That'll be the question. As one good W could be all that's required to put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. So, Zebrabbit will cry. Oh my god. That, Well, Kaisa was able to snipe that out, so really bad news for the Caitlyn, who I will say did play that out as about as well as she could have with the barrier to survive, but then just sticking around for too long, gonna get sniped out by that Kaisa, who absolutely is gonna take that all the way to the bank. On that first item, building up into whatever comes next, as Zebrabbit's looking for a fight here, but nobody's here nearby.
There's the first converted as they take down the smite availability for the GOAT roster. Entering in, Hecarim ult's going to be able to engage nicely as he does. The pull comes in the green into a rough spot, but the ult coming through from Zelmak going to dissolve any opportunity as the ace in the hole is blocked by the dash. Spaghetti still able to take down Ace Theory, but it's a rough situation, and the slow comes in as the Gwen hit out. Spaghetti still playing along the bush, isolated to an extent. The root converted. They try and dive in. The needlework comes into action, and they're going to look for more as Chief forced into a bit of a difficult situation. It's going to leave XSV with a good top lane push, however, as you look towards their Swain inputted deep in top lane on turret. The Gwen looking to catch them out, but Chief will take advantage and secure their kill in mid.
So that is very interesting. I will say GOATED actually fighting back okay there. With the help of Daxley actually being around for that fight. I think the engage from Zebrabbit was just really early. Really needed to wait for that Gwen's TP to complete, wait for Greeno to get the ability to roam down, just lost his entire HP bar for functionally nothing. But by the when Daxley did TP in, was able to get quite a lot done. Just the Gwen having some kind of lead here, hasn't completed an item yet, but is getting very close to what I assume is going to be the Rift Maker. I think that's the item name. Blanking on it for some reason. Cursed.
And the engagement coming on in. Zebra in a little bit of a rough spot. Mohawk's going to be able to put them 6 feet under as they leave in. Hook comes out. Ace Theory able to find one, but trying to poke and prod their way on into the action. The ulti comes in, and Zelmak takes advantage. Ace Theory still alive and kicking. However, perhaps maybe not for as long as one would have initially expected, as both these support-based characters comes on in. Rebel leader finally taking advantage in lane. However, I do believe that kill, Ace Theory has been taken down. And that's another kill going the way of XSV, as it seems like they might even try and play for the strike coming up.
They absolutely... I feel like they don't have enough damage. The Kaisa could have roamed down there on respawn to set up that Drake, but they just didn't really have enough damage to bother trying, so they don't. And they will continue to kind of just try and exert pressure around other parts of the map. Swain getting a great push on the top side, getting that outer turret, and also was able to bully out Dazzly a little bit, which is interesting to see. Dazzly does go for that Dusk Before Dawn, which is one of those fancy new items on this season that is very quirky. A lot of quirked up champions do have to build that, as Ace Theory is going to get both of us killed.
Yeah, Ace Theory not in a good spot whatsoever. The teammate being that Caitlyn going to be able to get out of that sticky situation. Chief, however, possibly looking to roam up and discover their location. Never mind. Goes back. Looks to play for that Drake.
Looking to play for the Drake. There are 3 moving down. The Amumus is there. No TP on Rebel Leader, so we will not see this Swain in this fight. So it's actually still just a 4v4. They're gonna try and take it. Zelmak really low. No death laser yet, though it will be coming up in a few seconds. There's the TP in. Okay, I forgot about the special top lane TP, but he's on a ward.
Yeah, Hecarim goes over the wall. Chief's able to find the first as they ult on in. Swain very, very low HP, and Ace Theory is going to be able to put the nail in the coffin and shut them down. Second kill coming online. Make it a double.
Okay.
Goes for the green O, and they'll find that Mohawk down and out. Spaghetti low HP. Chief right on the opposite side. Hook comes in.
No
connected with the
ulti on
W.
Chief.
Ace Theory about to fall down. It's going to be the burn to deal the damage, collecting the kill. And they're trying to find something more, but the damage poking, prodding is the Caitlyn looking to try and keep it up. The ward detects their presence. Flash into the hook. It won't work, and it will just have to be both players backing up, conceding any engagement possibilities. And unfortunately, as the Drake does get conceded, they're able to find a couple kills, but not enough to make it worthwhile.
Great fight there from GOATED. Kind of what you expected. I think I did forget about the extra special TP from the top lane quest, but unfortunately, Rebel forgot that the enemy team can see you TP, and they just put a trap on the ward, and he had absolutely no backup, and also like no items, so he kind of just got himself killed. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight, Greeno working very well with I don't remember who he's with around the side bush there, but Greeno working very well to kind of just space out Mohawk, take down that Hecarim with the Pyroclasm, and getting enough taken out of XSV to just get that Drake for relatively free. HP bars were super low, but without the death from below from the Pyke, good night. Good night, Caitlyn, and good night, perhaps, Ace Theory.
And down to a 3v3 skirmishing in the top mid side. The damage is dealt, and it is Daxley who will find their securing of the first. As Ace Theory at a low HP line, able to evade the first coming in from the Vel'Koz. Chief entering the fray, goes for one, goes for two, able to find it. And despite it being a rough situation to start off, they're going to make this even better. The third ulti comes online, and that reset just so volatile.
Yeah, death from the bot lane. Chief roams up in what started off with a pretty decent turnaround from GOATED. Daxley doing a lot of damage, Rebel Leader kind of just being not super useful. Ended up turning absolutely on its head once the Pyke arrived. This is the heart and soul of this team right now. If this Pyke at all blunders a fight, it is going to be a little rough, especially because we saw what happened in that fight there. Zelmak had no buttons left and was just kind of waiting for cooldowns, throwing them out whenever they were available, but without the disintegration ray, was almost certainly going to eventually get targeted by Daxley and could have been a huge threat. But once that Pyke arrived, it was so much easier to just completely disrupt, completely shut down, and Pyke's going to be looking for another one here. I don't think Greeno's making it out of this one. We're not seeing this guy in Rush Hour 3.
Rebel Leader able to give themselves a little bit of gold as they enter their first kill on the leaderboard. Let's see what they can find to follow up on that, but it is going to be Rebel Leader making their way to the bot side, looking to keep farming, as it is not a massive gap, but the only gap that the GOAT roster does have in their favor is going to be towards the top lane. Needlework coming online, going to be the Mummy coming through as well. Stun down, Chief trying to evade, trying to get out, goes around. The ace in the hole will get blocked as a massive peel comes in from Mohawk as they get pulled back in. Daxter getting forced into a fight they don't want to be a part of. Over on the opposite side, Ace Theory, Zebra, both getting burned down by the Vel'Koz ultimate. As they enter in, Mohawk going to be able to find one with the help. Chief's going to go legendaries. They secure their next. Another ulti might be underway, but Mohawk won't even allow it. The Caitlyn falls and the team goes up. XSV makes this game go up in smoke as they take it down. Within only 20 minutes, it's already seeming like it's a sailed ship.
This is some of the punishment that happens when you do not fight intelligently around Vel'Koz. We saw right there just the absolute decimation one Vel'Koz combo can have onto two gamers in a choke point like the one that Ace Theory was stuck in. And without that Braum, that extra defensive play, it's so much harder for this Caitlyn, for this Gwen to get a lot done. It doesn't help that Brand is so astronomically far behind. I feel like he doesn't even have a support budget. Like he is so broke, so unbelievably broke this game. It is so unfortunate for the Brand here. He can still. I always like to say Brand is the same champion, whether he's 10-0 or 0-10, but this is so much just so lacking here, and especially the rush of the Malignants. All of his entire existence is loaded into the Pyroclasm, which is fine, but it's just without hitting those bounces from the Pyroclasm, you're not going to see a whole lot. Zeb Rabbit will just be perished here, as Spaghetti's gonna try and fight this out, but Braum his shield is facing the wrong way. That is so sad.
This tragedy in the making is now down towards the top side. A bit of an engagement comes in as the Vel'Koz trying to end any opportunities. But the ultimate coming in from the Hecarim, trying to make something happen. The stun comes through, will not matter. The Greeno down. Ace Theory next on the chopping block as they'll be succeeded. It's all down to XSV to just keep this lead skyrocketing.
And skyrocket they will. Almost at 10k, 9.6k. Oh boy, we got an overlay that does the math for me. This is great news, as I am an English teacher. I don't know how to do math. So yeah, about a 10k gold lead here for XSV will become 10k with that Rift Herald charge, and Amumus being sent to the depths of Bilgewater Bay by the Pike there. Unfortunate. We'll see if Rebel Lead... Okay, no, Rebel Leader's out, and it is extremely difficult to fight this one out. The Amumu, I can't even, like, guess what we were doing with this Haunting Guys. I don't remember what Haunting Guys builds into. Like, what are we doing, man? Is this gonna become Malignance? We're betting the farm on Malignance when we are 100 CS down and the deadest man on record? There's gotta be something else we can do with our time. But, you know, talking about items is so far and away from, like, it's... The rest of the game has been so blown open by XSV, and I'm not sure what GOATED could do, what they could build to try and make a difference here, especially when we do not land a bandage toss on the gamer walking in a straight line towards us.
Yeah, they're entering another engagement just about now. Zebra low HP, but as Rebel Leader gets thrown up in air, could be a little bit on the unfortunate angle. A 1-for-1 does come out as both jungle traded for top, but it won't just be the jungler. It's going to be everyone falling down. Chief going to be put to a low HP line. Going to have to heal that right back on up. Over the wall will be the Gwen trying to enter. Chief looking to try and facilitate an engagement, but it is that ace in the hole that'll secure the shutdown. Zelmak making their way on into the action as Spaghetti low HP, but the ulti comes in. Zelmak finding one. The re-engage 2v3 situation. Stun gonna be dealing the damage. Oh.
Kaisa, she's trying to get out. We just gotta tag her with the slow. Tag her with any slow. Okay. Never mind. We TP. Wait.
Back in.
Swain TP? Swain, what are you doing? No, Swain! No!
Time one could have imagined it would be a decent play, but as the Kaisa fell down early, no opportunity to make a 2v3 go their way, and that's just going to be a little bit of feeding going down. That 10k gold lead dropped down to 6 as a massive team fight goes the way of GOAT, and ideally, I'd like to see the XSVD roster take a little bit of a breath of fresh air, kind of reset mentally if they want to be able to win this. But on the other hand, this climb does seem to be approaching as they're mounting a comeback, down only as slight amount of gold. I mean, obviously 4K, it's nothing to scoff at, but it's nothing to really say, all right, game is over.
Yeah, in the immortal words of Kobe, that TP sucked. Unfortunate there. I see the line, we're trying to save the Kai'Sa, but I think like Kai'Sa is so unbelievably dead there that she's just trying to waste time. And I think she wasted time effectively. Swain TPing in did nothing. He wasted no extra time because they killed him so quickly. And I think what we're seeing there is one of the weaknesses of the Pyke champion. Like, he's got this huge lead. He's so accelerated. He's 12-1-14. He is the heart and soul of this team, but he also like dies in 3 shots from Caitlyn. That is the nature of this champion. If he is able to get locked down by this Amumu who's going in,
yeah, they're making the entrance, and the ultimate coming in from the Zelmak. We're gonna make a lot of plays, but on the opposite side, able to really deal the damage. The Caitlyn shutting down the Hecarim on the other side. It's all down as Mohawk falls. The rest of the team needs to come back on up, but the Greeno getting hit by the pole, gonna be leaving them executed down in the dumps, and Chief having no plans on staying still, no plans on taking a static positioning. They're entering for the double kill, and they're able to deliver as the reset on the ultimate is going to be able to allow this excellent play. And now it's all up to XSVD to keep this lead going as they're entering in. They're starting to engage. The first tower will be decimated. Can they take the inhibitor with it? Answer should be a resounding no, as it seems like the 2 players are going to look to reset, go back to base, allow these respawns to come into play, and won't punish too heavily, and won't even attempt to try and get punished for their actions.
Feel like they could have gotten that. It would have been close because neither of them have a lot of attack speed, but they also do just have like a lot of basic attack damage between the 2 of them. So I don't know. I feel like they could have potentially gotten that inhib, but it's a battle for another day. They don't necessarily mid inhib, not the most beneficial inhib to get, just because it doesn't put any super minion pressure away from the Baron, for instance, or the next Drake. So we'll see what happens as we got a TP flank in onto Zelmak, who will be chopped up. That is some calamari, delicious and prepared for you by Chef Gwen, who is absolutely trying to Daxley here is 100% trying to get this GOATED roster across the finish line, and this is what we want to see from this GOATED team. Setting up around these objectives, getting the traps down, getting the pressure, getting the zone control, and waiting their time, biding their time for a mistake to be made that they can exploit. They have to try and burn that Banshees off of Chief. That would be huge if they can get that, but it's going to be tough. Zebrabbit's a little far forward. Daxley's going to be looking for this fight.
Rebel Leader entering nicely, down to half HP, however. Mohawk going to be elusive, entering on the opposite side. Going in, flank play coming in. Zebra going to be into a little bit of a rough situation. 3 going to be hit by the fleeting effect, but there's the double kill. Can they make it a triple? Answer no. Spaghetti ending 1 goes for a double of their own. It's a dual waste as they enter in triple for the Kai'Sa and double for the Pyke known as Chief as they enter in 5 down. No die on their side. Or actually, no, that's not true. Mohawk is but that's about all they're going to fall. XSVD entering in, marching to the opponent's inhibitors, and ending that game 1 by the looks of it, as the respawn's not going to be coming in for at least 10 seconds, and there's 4 players knocking on the door of game number 1. GOAT is going to have no real opportunity on stopping this push, as this is going to be game 1 done and dusted by the looks of it. We'll see whether or not GOAT will have any real final opportunities. 2 players do make their mark. That's going to do it, though.
Yeah, Chief ending this game with a knife through the heart like he has been through the rest of this 29-minute absolute bruiser of a game here. 50 kills for XSV and 26 on the board for GOATED as well. That mid-jungle duo of GOATED, 3-23-15. Zooey Mama. That is not good. That is bad, actually. Some would say that that's not advisable. Oh, we didn't even get a burn item. We got Rift Maker on Amumus, of course. Yes, I see. It's probably good. I don't know. I don't want to pretend to know. Take a look at some of these damage numbers. Unsurprisingly, the Caitlyn and Gwen are doing everything they can to win this game. We saw that in those fights. If Caitlyn Gwen could stay alive, they had a chance, but unfortunately, the dive from Hecarim was just a little bit too effective. I feel like the way GOATED could have potentially fought is to they could have kept Amumu back a little more, waited for there's waits for the Hecarim to go in first, punish him with counter engage off of the Braum, off of the Amumu, keep the Caitlyn and Gwen safe, and then once you take control through just an overcommitment from XSV, then you can look to try and snowball through the fight. But they just never had anybody to keep the Caitlyn alive. And part of that is just due to the comp. They only really have the Braum as protection. And if Amumu is looking to go in for a deep play, he doesn't have any backup. I don't know. It seems like there are ways that they could have piloted this. They had Caitlyn and Gwen in a great position to try and turn the game around. I just didn't have it right there. But here's a look at some of the gold here. As domination across the entire 29 minutes from XSV. Hard to say anything else.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult to see this if you're on that GOATED roster, right? No matter what time period you were looking in this game, they were never in really a winning position. And that's not great, right? Obviously, there was a couple team fights you saw in this game, but there's only 2 times where it really looked like that goal differential was changing and shifting towards a possibility to make a comeback. It never really got too close, but in the end, it was a very, very dominant game for them, right? 50-26 in terms of the kills, really just displaying, right? Like for every kill you got, we got 2 in exchange. They were also 1 off of a soul, really just going to show that this team did not feel many bumps in the road whatsoever.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what, if anything, this GOATED roster can do. Fortunately, due to the fearless system, they are able to get bans in this game, as in the 10 champions who were picked in this game are no longer playable. But, still missing out on those bans, probably part of the reason the Pyke even showed up. So we'll see what XSV can do in the draft for Game 2 in just a couple short moments. Alrighty, welcome back, everybody, here in the draft for Game 2. XSV, a game up on this one. GOATED will have to try and claw back a victory, a pretty decisive stomp in XSV's favor, although there was a little bit of life in GOATED's roster, a little bit of the life in that 80 carry and top lane. So we'll see what our players can do here, as once again GOATED are missing many other bans and XSV are not. So it's gonna be a little bit interesting to see what happens here. Honestly, it feels like losing bans in Fearless is even worse than regular draft, because in Fearless you can choke out, so you have the ability to get rid of some of those spicy one-trick picks or just things you don't want to deal with. But if you lose those bans, you kind of have to choose, okay, well, we can give it to them game one and then never have to deal with it again, or gamble on it just never coming up. So I don't know, it's a tough call. It always feels just rough in general, but the Lux will be the first pick here. A safe blind as XSV respond with the J4. Likely gonna pick up, who knows if they go for their mid lane response here, because this could be Lux support.
Yeah, that's a pick. That's a pick. It has been probably over a year since the last time I've casted a Lux. And on the other hand, you're getting a little bit more towards that meta-centered positioning where you get that Jarvan for the Aphelios lock-in. Now, not the most meta pick, but it's certainly not the worst option to go for. One of the more hard characters to pilot in the game of League of Legends. We'll see what the response does look like, as that Lux has a lot of flexibility. You traditionally do see it in that mid lane when you're kind of considering that competitive aspect, but there's that real positioning in the support lane. There's that positioning that it could even be in bot if they wanted to really play towards level 6, but we will just kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah, Aphelios is a very powerful champion if given the ability to, make it happen. But it's gonna require a great lane partner, and we'll just have to see if that lane partner exists. Because who really knows what XSV could have? There are a lot of good Aphelios options. A lot of classic ones like the Thresh with the Aphelios, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, the Yunara lock, so it is going to likely be in that support position to go with it. On the other side, though, the Xin Zhao gets picked up, so it is like the two most meta mid laners at the current moment going head to head. We've seen Xin Zhao get a lot of priority within pro play recently, so it is nice to see him getting that same angle in that competitive scene in the draft league of Blue Otter. Now, the Anivia pickup. This is a bit of an interesting one. So if this Lux does end up going towards that mid lane, this could be a fun matchup. Now, I think the Anivia does take a little bit of a higher priority in this, but I don't know how likely there would be to be kills on either end. I think there's a lot more kill potential from the Anivia. However, we're just gonna have to wait and see.
We'll see, as XSV do ban out their last two picks, just targeting a couple of top laners away from GOATED, and looking to try and round it out. Look, I imagine, yep, that would make sense. Looking to pick their own top laner in the Yok S, who blind Jax is a little interesting. It's not something I would expect to see. I feel like if you're going for the blind, Jax may not be the first guy I think of, but he's relatively reliable, and picking the Garen into him is all right, for the Garen at least. Jax is probably not going to be too happy about it, but there are definitely worse matchups for the Jax.
Oh yeah, for sure. So at this point, they've left that mid support option open. We will likely see what will end up getting put into each lane after this. Maybe they will even keep it hidden. lock in something like, I don't even know, maybe like a Zyra, I guess, kinda. Oh, never mind. They're just gonna give us that confirmation. The Lux goes into the mid lane as the Leona gets pulled up for support. And I think Yunara Leona has a lot of kill potency. So on the other side, if you are this Thresh plus the Aphelios, that's going to be a really difficult matchup to play into, especially since that Aphelios Thresh doesn't really have as much damage. They have a lot more survivability, and even trading over to the Tom Kench, it is kind of a similar situation where they don't really do the most damage, but they have a decent bit of kind of opportunity to stay alive.
Yeah, the Thomas Kenchaman with is another one of those really safe picks to pair with the Aphelios for sure. I do like Tom. I think it's better to have that as a little bit of aggro. I feel like the Thresh would have been okay. Thresh historically pretty decent into Leona just because Flay is a great button into Zenith Blade, sort of just stifling that from really becoming a problem. But at the same time, I think it's perfectly fine. Thomas is still a good pairing with the Aphelios, and theoretically shouldn't cause too much heartbreak for this moon faring individual. Looking at the rosters as a whole, I will say I haven't seen a whole lot of Yunara because I just haven't watched a lot of games with Yunara in them, so I can't really speak for how effective the Yunara is going to be in this particular matchup. But Aphelios is a lot of variety. I think he's very strong in the late game, and the Anivia as well is a great just sort of scaling option. A lot of good control from XSV, big win condition with the Aphelios. I think they've rounded off their roster pretty well. The GOATED also have a pretty solid, kind of just stable roster, that with the Lux being maybe the more interesting part of it. No real X factor on either team to really be like, oh, this is a great pick, or oh, this is a horrendous pick. Both teams I like for the most part.
Well, I think if you were to consider one character as that X factor for both teams, I'm looking towards those ADCs, the Aphelios and the Yunara. More specifically, the Yunara, I think that's going to have a lot of potential to start to snowball and become a really strong individual to match on this game. Maybe we're going to be seeing a decent potential from the Anivia if they can get ahead, which I think that there's a real possibility they might. Then that could also start to give them a lot of potency when it comes to their walls, when it comes to their AoE damage. Just generally, I think that the Anivia can get really, really powerful really, really quickly if given the opportunity. We know last game the mid laner was a big part of the reason this XSV roster was able to succeed, as well as especially towards their bot lane. I think seeing this Jax coming out is going to be a little bit scary. I would have preferred to see something like an Ornn or a Malphite. That way they can kind of become that rock that just sits on top and waits to team fight. But if they can make something happen on the Jax picks, I won't be too disappointed if they do get some good damage. And I think on the other side, I'm also a little bit kind of like, I'm scratching my head at the Garen pick, right? Like, you know that one of the main reasons you were able to stay alive in that last series was because of the fact that you're so ahead in the top 10. The Gwen was able to utilize that power and become more impactful. But a Garen, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not too familiar with how Garen does play, but I don't see a lot of potential to carry a game on Garen.
Garen can carry. It just really relies on accelerating early, and Jax is not the easiest champion to kill. I played quite a bit of Garen in top lane. I never really liked picking Garen into Jax just because it's kind of it is definitely more skill based. Like, you can just kind of wait for him to use his counter strike. you hit your stun button, you wait for his counter strike to go away, and then you actually right click him there. But it never felt amazing to me personally. But I don't think it's so bad. I feel like there's a plenty of potential for the Garen. It requires a lot of good flanks and a lot of good setup from the Leona and Xin Zhao. I think Garen has the tools to succeed if he can get that early lead, but it's gonna be difficult, I think. More difficult than other matchups for him would be to get that lead going. Personally, I favor the XSV roster here, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think on paper I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that this roster is gonna be able to make a lot happen on the other side. I scratch my head at the Lux, I scratch my head at the Garen, but in general, I want to see that skirmishing coming out, right? And I think if they can make it work well, if you can give your Xin Zhao those flank angles, allow your Leona to engage, facilitate these fights, there's a real opportunity for this team to come out on top, and I just kind of am waiting to see what they will find. And on the other side, right, there's so much survivability, there's so much tankiness that it's going to be hard to kill XSV, but the damage that they got along it could be enough to get through the GOATED roster's appearances.
Yeah, so we'll see if the GOATED roster can turn this one around, turn the series around for themselves, or if they will simply fall and give the 2-0 over to XSV. So we'll see when we get in on the Rift in just a few minutes.
Blinding lights, lost in your eyes, feeling the pressure. You and I, spending the night, chasing forever. For you, oh no, I'd be your one and only. Don't let me go, don't leave me lonely. Say you'll stay through the pain, say you won't go running. Let me in through your veins, get off on my loving.
Alrighty, welcome back here on the Rift for game 2 of our series between XSV and GOATED. GOATED on the blue side, XSV on the red side. I am still Becky Rita, and presumably we still have Cherry, who is still Cherry, and no one else. And we have a very powerful game ahead of us, potentially.
Potentially is the key word, right? Last game was a little bit on a different angle where it's very one-sided over towards XSVD. This time, we're already going to be getting that Ignite forced on out. The Garen going to have a bit of priority in the lane already. However, they're going to keep that back from succeeding. Going to allow themselves to stay in lane. With the minions coming on up, there's a good chance that this Garen is already going to be putting themselves on the forefront of this lane.
Yeah, no, I said, I don't know why, I was in my mind, I'm like, oh, Garen doesn't just win this instantly. The reason I said that is because I am very bad at Garen. I couldn't win the matchup, which means it has to be bad for him. No, Garen definitely just wins this, because as long as you're like playing intelligently and engaging with your opponent properly, you're fine. On the Garen, you just wait, you just spin all over him, and then you hope the jungler doesn't come up and gank you and kill you level 2.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because that's exactly what happened. The jungler came up and killed you level 2. So, It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate to say the least. But XSVD, this is almost exactly what we saw last game, where the jungler just is instantly able to find these opening kills as the over-aggression gets called out, and that'll allow this Garen to be in a little bit of a tough pickle, where Rebel Leader is going to be able to be up on gold. Now, unfortunately, in the mid lane, different story. Zelmak, super low on HP, gonna have to try to get that back, and if they play under tower, it doesn't even matter if they die, as they will have that resurrection from the egg. The slow does get converted. Ace Theory trying to play aggressive, able to connect a stun. However, the damage dealt is going to be enough to put them in a little bit of a pinch of a situation.
Yeah. So looking right now, the Yunar definitely pinned under tower. Leona gonna have a little bit of trouble here to play aggro. Leona's defensiveness relies entirely on her sun shield, her eclipse. There it is. There's the name of the ability. Her eclipse is really what the champion is all loaded into here, as Daxley does have the ignite, could look to try and bully this Jax out, and Chief licking him and sticking him, but Zebra Rabbit's here.
Yeah, it is already looking unfortunate, to say the least, for the GOAT team. Is down 400 gold, not the greatest situation, but Daxley is able to find the trade, putting them back 1-1 and taking a 200 gold lead. Certainly not the ideal scenario to be in.
Yeah, it's not ideal for sure. Daxley getting that kill there is perfect, is great for this Garen. You pick this Garen as this counter pick, because as we know, as everybody has known since the dawn of time, Garen beats Jax 95-5, and I'm a failure and a fraud, as Zelmak is potentially in danger, does have the egg, will get scrambled here.
Take down the egg. Zelmak is down. This game going to be looking like XSVD in a tricky spot, to say the least. But Rebel Leader going to stay healthy in a certain situation, getting way too aggressive, and that will cause the... Oh, see, the jungler came up, and I don't know whether or not the Jax just realized that and said, all right, I'll run at them, or genuinely thought, okay, I'll run at them. But Either way, that's not
that's what
great.
that's what we call an ill-advised maneuver. That particular play there.
Yeah.
It's certainly interesting to go for that. Sometimes you just need the jungle to give you emotional support. I feel like the Jax did not have vision on Zeb-Rabbit there, and just kind of underestimated how bad things were going to go for them. But in any case, that's another kill in the pocket of in the pocket of Daxley here, who is setting themselves up very well in this topside mismatch once again. Meanwhile, bot lane, the Aphelios taking control here. Chief Zeri Shelby, who has returned to the Rift. This was the missing player who needed an E-sub to come in for them. Zeri Shelby is back. Very interesting player. Has a lot of fancy champions, including the Aphelios in their pool. So I like watching Aphelios. I think he's super fun to watch. He's an AD carry that actually looks like he's doing things, which I don't know. I think he's fun. I will not play him because I, again, am not very smart. But I do like watching people who are good at the Aphelios play this champion. As Rebel Leader is for some reason going to try and I'm not sure what we were trying there.
I don't think even they knew what they were trying there. But this game is looking a lot better for the Goats. Over the wall goes the Jarvan 4. 3v3 skirmish under tower. Mohawk looking to try and isolate this last pick, and they will be able to do exactly that. Zebra unable to read the positioning of their opposition. Zeri going to try and make something happen. Ace Theory low HP, but their ADC is lower. Mohawk possibly going to try and make some kind of aggressive stance, aggressive play, as they do go on in. The flag and drag collects the first. Ace Theory trying to get out of the fray and able to do exactly that. As now they get back on out, and the kills have been equalized. That's 3 over to the way of the XSVD as the wave starts to get pushed in again. That's going to give even more turrets as the XSVD takes back that gold lead.
Yeah, clawing that one back off of a great gank from Mohawk. Able to just lock up and take down the Yunara and also catch Zeb-Rabbit there, which is absolutely great to see. And then Rebel Leader able to turn one around for himself, which is inspiring, if nothing else, as this has definitely been a rough looking game for the Jax here, but able to get any kind of kills is going to be good for him. Looks like the Grubbins are started up by J4. Xin Zhao knows it's there. Pings are going down, but the roam is absolutely favoring XSV here, as Tom and Anivia are in the wings.
Yeah, coming on in, the counterattack gets pulled into action. The silence effect goes through. Zebra able to deliver the first. It's down to a 1-on-2, but it's all up to Zebra. And Zebra's down, and now it's Daedally. How much can they get the damage dealt? Chief trying to follow up, but that slow play is here. Gonna be rough. Oh, it's a 1-for-1 situation, but under tower, Ace Theory gonna try and find the kill, and they're able to do exactly that. The Yunara barely stays alive. Oh, that's tragic. And oh, the minion's actually gonna be able to kill the kill.
Never mind. Yunara did not stay alive. The minion is better than her, as it turns out. Tragic. It's a shame,
another
really.
Trade comes in on the other side. Oh, but Zebra, a tragic end, but the resurrection does seem to be coming through as Chief is able to keep them alive. But now in a 1v2 situation, Zebra gonna have to concede any chances of killing out this Anivia, but at least they took down that resurrection. So unfortunately, no gold to be converted, but they do at least bait out some parts of the kit.
Yeah, some of that, getting that egg popped is always good into the Anivia, because just this champion does not have a lot of mobility, and with no flash, Zelmak will certainly be a target, as Daxley is going to just look to obliterate with the help of Zeb-Rabbit. Will not need even the Demacian Justice. as they just easily clean that one up for themselves. And yeah, Daxley getting another one on the board. We'll see if what they can continue to do. They're aggressing on this top lane here. Gonna get a couple of plates and just look to try and starve out some pressure here off of this Jack. Starve off some minions as Greeno gets the laser. That is the final spark of life in Anivia's eyes, ousted by the Luxana.
And the gold lead still not going to be favoring one team or the other just yet. Chef's able to get their way on out of the fray, down to a 3v1 situation with the Xin Zhao looking to put the nail in the coffin, end the kill. Wind becomes lightning coming out, but Chef still staying alive somehow, some way, flashing over the wall. There's the engagement. Might just be a little bit too rough to be taken as the root does come in. Zebra, rough spot, and the 1-for-1 comes on out. And Rebel Leader, once more, very, very aggressive, but it's all going to be for naught as the Demacia gets stricken down. There's the kill off of the Ignite.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a little early there, but maybe just a slight miscalculation on the HP. But the kill's a kill nonetheless, as this Jax is absolutely no longer in the game. But Mohawk gets a great trade back as Daxley does not respect the King J4, actually, the Crown Prince, from arriving and doing what he does best.
Yeah, shutting down the Darius is a real no, Garen. Wow, why am I? Oh, wow. Okay. Shutting down the Garen is a really nice pick, as 6-3 was a phenomenal score one to be at, and getting that bounty down gives you that bit of gold necessary, and especially when you're playing that Jarvan 4, being able to get as much gold efficiency on yourself is always a super, super good start. Having the Sundered Sky up gives you a little bit more survivability with that healing potential, as well as the steel caps, really just putting yourself in a position to be able to stay alive and stay healthy within these team fights.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can truly stay alive and stay healthy in those fights when we actually get to them. For the time being, though, we've got the Drake up. That'll be the second Drake taken this game. The Herald up in about 2:30, little less than 2:30, as both junglers waiting for action.
Yeah, they're going to make their way on through. Zebra a little bit slower, but the TP does come on in. Conceding the engagement as the 3v4 is super, super unfavorable. But Zelmak waiting in the wake, looking to try and play from the other side. Wind becomes lightning, comes on in as well as Crescent Guard. Adapted. Chef's going to be the first one down. Sun comes through onto Ace Theory. Down for the count. Mohawk delivering the final punchline. Goes on through. Zebra looking to try and make their way on into the action as they start the engagement. Goes on Airborne, but it's the Luxor to make it work. The Greeno delivering Zeri Shelby to their grave, and down to a 2v3, but with Daily coming on up, it's all over, and there's the kill. Rebel Leader on the top side going to be able to deal some damage, but that's about all they're going to get.
A little overcooked there, for sure. The GOATED will get the slight advantage in this particular fight, getting at least annoying the dragon, maybe not taking it quite yet. Greeno pumping out a little bit of poke here, as Rebel Leader's gonna be able to take this turret with the help of the little grubbies, the little grublings, as it's just Daxley walking back and forth waiting to see what Rebel Leader does. But I think Leona's just got this. I think Leona just kills this guy. Zebrabbit here just to speed the process up a little bit, as the Jax will perish. Does have his first item at the very least, but it's not going to help him out a whole lot. Meanwhile, the Garen also has his first item. That Stridebreaker is huge for the Garen. It's a great utility option. It allows you to stick on people. It speeds you up. It does everything that Garen needs to win the game. So he's in a fantastic spot. It's just going to come down to whether GOATED can set up these fights for him, as Ace Theory is going to potentially... Oh, never mind. We got a TP.
Yeah, bit of a fight will be coming in, and as Mohawk is the first one down. Ace Theory in a possible deathly situation, but a lethal shot with the hammer. Rebel Leader down. Zelmak seems to be the next one on the chopping block, but won't be shut off the board just yet. Drake does seem to be the target prioritized, as a couple players playing on the outskirts. Daxley, though, still standing tall, still standing proud, looking to fight. Chef taking first engagement. Zeri, on the other hand, going to be spitting him right on out. Ace Theory playing it super, super up and tight. And as they take a deep angle, Daedally will just... Daxley is just going to be able to not get punished whatsoever.
Yeah, spin to win, as they say. As is written in the stones, you spin and then you win, and such is Garen. And that is one of the most terrifying things to see as an AD carry is Garen sprinting at you at Mach 10 with Stride Breaker. Does have to burn the flash there. That off of the Aphelios is going to be pretty critical for any future engagements, since Aphelios will be a complete sitting duck against the Leona, the Xin Zhao, and a Garen with a good flank if he's able to get one. Meanwhile, for Chief, we'll have to keep that eye out, make sure to have the Devour ready to keep Zeri Shelby out of danger. On the top side, though, we do have the Herald getting started up by Rebel leader. Greeno's going to try and just sniff this one out, but backup is going to be coming in from both sides.
Yeah, definitely looking a little bit rough, to say the least. As we do kind of just keep our eyes peeled, the Goats going to have to keep this lead alive in their favor. Airborne, knocked up. Ace Theory, low HP. Can they stay alive? Answer seems to be no, as Zelmak gonna keep that isolated. And yep, that'll do it. Zeri ending the life, as the Herald does seem to be gonna be finished off, but the re-engage does come in. Flag and Drag gonna be on the bar, but it's all up to the Crescent Guard keeping alive. There's a nice ult as the Cataclysm dropping Mohawk in. Zebra down, looking like they got another player off the board as they're trying to stay alive. Demacia unable to find their marks as they barely stay alive. It'll be Zeri who ends up still alive and kicking.
Yeah, Zeri Shelby still alive here. The Herald picked up by XSV. A great fight there, and that's going to be the crash into this turret. Yeah, Ace Theory, just at the start of that fight, just got caught out super early, and without that Leona being able to pressure the back line and actually, try and lock somebody down, the effectiveness of this goated composition really kind of does... It starts to struggle a little bit. There's a lot of great lockdown that this goated roster has, but they kind of all need to be alive to make that happen. If any of these pieces are missing, you have the window open by Mohawk, who can dive in, Zelmak, who can keep themselves safe, follow up with Mohawk, and a lot of great power coming out from the Aphelios if he's able to be untouched. And really the only deep CC that can get to him is that Leona. So we're gonna have to see if Ace Theory can position a little bit better. We've seen Ace Theory get caught out just a little bit too much to make this comfortable here, as Greeno will nearly pop the egg there, but that one did not crack this time around, as Zelmak will just walk away. We do have a minute 20 on the Drake, minute till the Baron spawns, and I don't think we'll see any early Baron gameplay. Aphelios can do it if he's got the right guns, but it'll depend on XSV being in the right spot as Daxley's caught out.
Certainly looking rough as Zeri's able to find their first on this fight, but XSVD, they take that gold lead despite being way down on kills. The massive lead in store for the ADC could just be enough to be able to skyrocket this team to be able to make something happen in their favor. You see that BF sword, it looks like the IE is going to be their next build to go on further. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Drake up in 30. That'll be what will look to be the next team fight more likely than not. We'll just kind of have to bide our time, see what does end up happening. The green going to be able to deal a little bit of poke damage. Mohawk taking it and leaving. And it's not going to look too good, right? The goats, they are now down on that lead. The green can be able to connect the root. Can they find much more before getting taken down? Seems like the answer is going to be no taken down just yet, as that turret is going to be something that will be stayed away from. But, oh, the ulti will make their connection. Mohawk's going to be the only one found out by it, but as they do get left on low HP, going to look to try and back off, so they will be able to play for the Drake.
The Drake is going to be the next mark here. Ace Theory chunked out very hard. Position great for XSV here. They've got all the vision. It's going to have to be breached by the goats here, and they don't necessarily have the right position, as that is a great Glacial Storm just controlling that area. And Zeri Shelby's flashing the wall.
It's looking good, to say the least, as it's all up to the ADC. Yunara to get out of the action, won't be able to make that happen. And now it's all going to be that Stride Breaker working its magic. Rebel Leader is going to be taking the front of it, but not too much to worry about. The lane does start to get pushed in once more. Some minions are coming under tow, but the rest of the team starting to make their way on over. Looking like the Baron play is going to be the next option they're going to want to adapt into. And it's all up to the Garen to try and make any type of contention. But as Chief is on the other side, going to keep them away. Spacing well, spacing nicely. And the Garen will make their concession, looking to play from the flank angle, looking to try and make something happen, flashing over the wall, trying to do it, but it will not happen just yet. No steal available, but a double kill comes in for the Garen themselves. Oh man, Chief gonna flash over the wall, and a stun does get delivered. Won't be able to retrieve a kill in any regard, but that gold lead starting to be dismantled.
Yeah, the gold lead still maintained by XSV there. They are able to get the Baron, which is absolutely fantastic. Both of their main carries will have it. Just kidding, y'all. I'm lying. Just kidding. Zelmac is okay somehow, despite everything. If that laser hit, I would have been very sad, I think. As Zeri Shelby will get taken, will get stopped by that solar flare, so Ace Theory can get out of dodge. Not able to kill the turret there from GOATED. It's a little unfortunate. Just gotta sneeze on it, but apparently, you know, nobody's feeling sniffly right now. And that turret will remain at about 10 whole HP. Oh, never mind. The minions, they did the job. The minions had the sniffles. They were able to finish that turret down, as Ace Theory is just found another new location to die in.
Ace Theory, unfortunately, unable to get out of that engagement. He's going to be leaving them in a little bit of a rough situation to be devoured. Chief, going to deal a little bit of damage. Nothing to scoff at, however, as they are able to be that scout for the rest of the team to rally behind. So far, though, looking like mid is going to be the way that they like to march down. Rebel Leader going to be hit in a little bit of a sticky situation once more, and they don't really have a way out. Now, this does kind of buy the what sort of pressure from Deadly, who's just going to keep on pushing. But yeah, that's kind of that's going to be the most they're going to be able to get in that situation, down to a 4v4 with the Garen coming in tow. As they go for a back, they'll be able to find their way back into the front lines sooner rather than later.
XSV deep in the jungle of GOATED once again, just trying to control out vision, using their Baron, splitting out the map as best as they can. Daxley is looking to try and set something up, but man, yeah, it's really tough to with the Anivia Baroned up. It's really difficult to siege on that champion with her wall, with the Glacial Storm. It's just hard to actually try and break the Baron push if Anivia is on the map. No matter who you have, where you have them, it's just a matter of the bird can give you the bird and tell you to go away and stop aggressing. Which is nice. It's certainly good for XSV to be able to control like that. Another turret does get picked up by Daxley, who absolutely is once again the main character of the GOATED roster this game. I will say, overall, I think that the GOATED team has been performing a lot better in this game. I would like to see them play more off of their pick potential here. I'd like to see Ace Theory actually like cooperating with the team and moving with the Xinjiao, moving with the Lux, looking for those hard lockdown potential. Between the Lux and the Leona, you can keep a gamer in stasis for quite a long time. And with the Yunara, you can absolutely shred anybody, tanks included. So it's just going to be a matter of once those items get in on the Yunara, we'll see that to pay out a lot better. Zeri Shelby looking pretty good, pretty snazzy on the Aphelios here. 3 items currently on that character. Does have the Storm Razor, which is, I suppose, just new Aphelios tech. You never really see him build that item before, but I suppose it does make sense. But yeah, we have some interesting, we got 4 gamers here getting sieged.
Yeah, here's the collapse coming on in. Cataclysm coming through. Flashing over the wall. It's going to be a stun going over. Zebra in a little bit of a rough spot, but Rebel Leader going to be the first one down. A double kill, triple kill comes in from the XSVD. 2 for the Aphelios. As Zelmak takes down Zebra. Deadly running for the hills as Chief starts to follow. Resurrection comes in. The green, not enough damage output to be able to collapse onto them. However, it's a good fight. There will be one out. XSVD able to win out completely.
Oh boy, yep. Yeah, that is a complete and total routing there by the GOATED team. And honestly, I feel like they just... I don't know. They're starting these objectives and they're just not putting themselves in a good position to actually fight. They need to play as 5. They need to actually maneuver as a singular unit. They keep splitting themselves up in just some bizarre ways that allows XSV to just cut them up and pick them off. Investing so much into trying to kill the Yak-S, who is already like deader than dead can possibly be, is baffling. It is a befuddling choice. Meanwhile, your entire bot side is getting decimated by the rest of the XSV roster. You need to keep this Yunara alive. Sure, not doing amazing, but still has the potential to do a lot of damage if the character is allowed to live and like thrive. We will catch out Zelmak and just not in an unadvisable position right there around the Baron, and this could be a window of opportunity for GOATED if they can find a way to take it, especially with Garen splitting.
Comes out. The other side, Chef able to make the first, but as the Chief starts to fall down, Sun gets completely locked up. Cataclysm instantly finds the first. Gonna be trying to make something happen as there is gonna be a nice ulti coming through, but the Sun goes down. Double kill comes in from the amazing Aphelios. Zeri finds their triple.
There was never TP.
Oh, that might just be it. As Ace Theory, the last player in the fray, Mohawk still seeming to have interest in the Baron. Ace Theory just hanging around the extremities. And they're going to be able to fight this. Ace Theory coming in. One way or another, either the Baron's going to be taken or the player. Seems like it might just be both. As Zeri Shelby able to find the kill. And now it's down to 8k HP on the Baron. Deadly. Okay, why is Rebel Leader still fighting? Okay. You know
we're stopping the ports. Do not look to see if Garen has port up. Don't look. I assumed he did with how we were splitting there, but we just super didn't, which is I guess just has more faith in his team than I do. Which, you know, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect, you know, you love your friends, you love their capabilities. You want to believe in them as competent gamers, but they are absolutely in a very much losing position, and they need Garen with them kind of at all times. I understand the idea of the split push win condition because nobody can contest Garen, but he didn't even get the inhib, which is very just kind of sad, as Mohawk will find an avenue to die as that is the Moonlight Vigil, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot of damage coming into play. as we are going to be seeing the Garen making their way up towards the top side of the jungle. Stun comes through, looking to try and make something happen. Counterattack over the wall, flashing in, airborne, gets grounded, goes into the stomach, and they get eaten right on up. Chief going to spit him out right into the ground, as it's going to leave him with another kill, and the Garen falls down short once more. And this has been a little bit of a difficulty that they got to reconsider, right? You need that Garen to be playing with the team. When they're alone, that's when they get isolated. That's when the rest of the team is able to completely go for that 1v5 Avengers Assemble play. But the stun comes in. There's the damage. Oh, Ace Theory already down and dusted. We do see the exhaust coming in. Wind becomes lightning going through. It's Zebra to try and make something happen, but it will just be in vain. Kill comes in. Tower gets destroyed. Inhibitors next on the chopping block, and it seems like that 2-0 might just be the play, as it's the Baron buff that's going to really start to deal the damage. Crumble these turrets, and they're really getting crumbled fast. Chief, the only one in a really killable situation except for Rebel Leader. First kill comes in. The Unara falls. There's the second. There's the game. It's all XSV who will find their success as the 2-0 comes out. The draft league is all theirs. The goats will fall down.
Yeah, and that is going to just be an easy cleanup for this XSV roster. Great work in week 2. Bringing out a very dominant victory here. They had to win this game. They could not have afforded to lose this game. If they lost this game after rule booking and getting their opponents to lose all bans, their season would be like emotionally over. They would never live it down if that happened. So at least they won. So no matter what anybody says, they can still say we won the game, GG easy. Even if they're called meanie heads for rule sharking. But it gotta play by the rules, gotta play the game. And in this game, XSV absolutely played it out. I'll say the GOATED roster still looked all right, but it felt like they could have played so much better as a team. They could have played their comp so much better. There are a lot of just Ace Theory getting caught out so many times. A lot of over-investment into a Jax who is a non-factor in the game. There are some choices that they could have made that they could have improved things, but at the end of the day, you make the choices you do, and you gotta live with them. And I suppose XSV will live with this 2-0. And the GOATED roster will look to lick their wounds and come back next week.
Yeah, they gotta come back, swing even stronger, as we know they got that talent littered across the field, but unfortunately today was just not their day. So we'll see whether or not they are going to be able to reclaim a win next week. But as we do enter the final bits of this game, do you have anything before we head out?
No, I gotta say, congrats to the XSV team. They did a good job. I gotta say, I always like to see a good Aphelios being piloted, where there's some, maybe some interesting kind of gun rotations that were suboptimal. Yes, but I wouldn't know that. So it's all looked good to me. Could both teams have played better? Absolutely. But in the end, I feel like that was still a very entertaining game. A lot of fighting, a lot of action, the gauntlet being thrown on both sides, and hopefully we can see GOATED bounce back next week, because it's always nice to see, with their full roster, what they're capable of. With that said, that's going to be it for tonight. I have been Becky Rita, and I'll be back and still Becky Rita next week. Thank you, Cherry, for filling in for Reigns, and thank you to our producer for also filling in on very short notice. I greatly appreciate it, considering otherwise the draft would not have been a produced stream tonight. So, thank you both for your time. Thank you for joining me, and have a good night to everyone out there. And enjoy your evening.